The hidden behaviors of emotionally exhausted people. Not everyone who is struggling looks broken. Some people still go to work. They answer messages. They smile at the right moments. They show up when they're supposed to. And because of that, nobody realizes how much they're carrying. The truth is, when someone has been through too much for too long, the signs are often quiet. They don't always cry for help. Sometimes they simply change. And today, we're talking about the hidden behaviors that can appear when emotional pain goes unaddressed for too long. 1. They stop talking about their problems. At first, most people reach out. They explain what they're going through. They ask for support. They hope someone will understand. But when someone feels unheard enough times, something changes. They stop sharing. Not because they're okay, because they've learned to expect disappointment. Eventually, "I'm fine" becomes easier than explaining what hurts. 2. They become emotionally numb. People often assume suffering means feeling overwhelming sadness, but emotional exhaustion often looks different. After carrying stress, grief, anxiety, or disappointment for long enough, some people stop feeling much at all. The highs become smaller, the lows become flatter. Life starts feeling distant, almost like watching yourself live instead of actually living. 3. They keep themselves constantly busy. Have you ever noticed how some people can never sit still? They're always working, cleaning, planning, scrolling, watching something, doing anything except being alone with their thoughts. Sometimes productivity is healthy. Sometimes it's avoidance. Because when the distractions stop, the emotions they've been outrunning start catching up. 4. They struggle to accept kindness. One of the less obvious effects of emotional pain is that it can make kindness feel uncomfortable. A compliment, a favor, a genuine offer of help. Instead of feeling grateful, some people feel suspicious, or guilty, or undeserving. When you've spent a long time believing you have to handle everything alone, receiving support can feel strangely unfamiliar. 5. They expect disappointment before it happens. Have you ever met someone who always prepares for the worst? Someone who struggles to get excited because they're already expecting things to go wrong? This isn't always pessimism. Sometimes it's self-protection. If life has repeatedly taught someone that good things don't last, their brain starts trying to prevent future pain by lowering expectations. The problem is that this protection often blocks hope as well. 6. They become extremely independent. Independence is usually seen as a strength, and often it is. But sometimes, extreme independence develops for a different reason. Not confidence, survival. When people learn they can't rely on others, they start relying exclusively on themselves, even when support is available, even when help is needed. The habit becomes so automatic that asking for help feels harder than carrying the burden alone. 7. Small problems trigger big reactions. This can be confusing for both the person experiencing it and everyone around them. A minor inconvenience causes intense frustration. A simple comment feels deeply personal. A small setback ruins the entire day. The issue isn't usually the event itself. It's that the nervous system is already overloaded. The final straw is rarely the actual problem. It's simply the thing that happened after 1,000 other things. 8. They feel guilty for needing anything. Many emotionally exhausted people become experts at taking care of everyone else, but terrible at taking care of themselves. They apologize for asking for support, feel guilty for resting, and convince themselves that their needs aren't important enough. Over time, they become so focused on carrying everyone else's burdens that they forget they're allowed to have needs too. 9. They start believing this is just who they are. Perhaps the saddest stage happens when suffering becomes familiar. When exhaustion feels normal, when loneliness feels expected, when stress becomes part of someone's identity, instead of thinking, "I'm struggling," they start thinking, "This is just who I am." But emotional pain isn't a personality trait. It's an experience, and experiences can change. 10. Healing usually starts smaller than you think. People often imagine healing as a dramatic breakthrough, a life-changing moment, a complete transformation. But more often, healing starts quietly. One honest conversation, one day of rest, one boundary, one therapy session, one moment of admitting, "I'm not doing as well as I pretend I am." Small steps may not look impressive, but they're often how recovery begins. If you've recognized yourself in some of these signs, remember this: being exhausted doesn't mean you're weak, being overwhelmed doesn't mean you're failing, and needing support doesn't make you a burden. Sometimes people carry pain for so long that they forget life isn't supposed to feel this heavy. But just because something has been your normal for a long time doesn't mean it has to stay that way forever. The strongest thing you can do isn't pretending you're okay. It's allowing yourself to stop carrying everything alone.